cat in the wall, eh? Okay, now you're talking my language.
Do you ever drunk Baileys from a shoe?
Oh, great. Thanks, Mother, for replacing the baby aspirin with LSD.
How much you want to make a bet I can throw a football over the mountain?
All right, welcome into the View from C-Deck, and I, Just Matt, would personally like to thank all the Tennessee Vols fans for coming up and bringing their hard-earned dollars to the state of Ohio and Columbus in particular. Thank you so much, and enjoy your ass whooping. Have a safe drive home. This is the View from C-Deck, and yeah, we're going to rub it in your faces because we've been eating shit from every fan base there is for the last 5 weeks leading up to this game. So the Haas and the Dire Wolf are here too to let everybody know that Ohio State, we're not quite dead yet. Not quite dead yet. And even though we were kind of doubting the team a little bit, we all picked them to win. I think you picked them to cover, Haas, right?
Yes.
I don't think any of us thought that was going to happen, though, Saturday night. Complete ass kicking from start to finish. You two were both in the house, so I'm going to let you take it away. I asked you before the podcast, was this the most fun game you've ever been to, Direwolf?
Yes, it was. I mean, I was at game of the century in 06. I was at the 16 Michigan game, double overtime. But both of those were nail biters, like edge of your seat the whole time. This one was just blow the doors off right out the gate. Like the whole time I'm like, man, it's still first quarter. We're just flooring them. But just full maximum fun. Like it was never in question. Once it was 21-10 at half, I was, a little bit uneasy. But then, man, we stepped up in that third quarter. I don't know if it was 3 and out. It wasn't 3 and out, but we forced the punt and then go right down, touchdown. At that point, game over. It was the most amazing game experience I've had.
Haas, how many SEC chants did you start?
So we scored every time we scored. Every time we scored, we had there was a few rows ahead of us. There were some Tennessee fans. I was starting them, and they were going left and right. Do not regret doing that. That was definitely probably the most fun game for sure. Just the morale, everybody kind of going up and up and up, as the game progressed, just was like an avalanche effect. And it continued all the way down into Rocky Top, and Tennessee's probably still trying to unearth down there all the shit that we just cascaded on them. But it was, yes, all the fans, all the people that did sell their tickets, a lot of season ticket members around us throughout the year that we got to know, they weren't there. A lot of old people that it just felt like there were a lot of more young people, more diehard fans were in attendance. I had people behind me that had been there. That was their first Buckeyes game ever. And like, they were in literal almost tears. Like they thought it was like, it couldn't get any better when they saw the double script Ohio, the drone show. It was like, it was better than anything they could have ever imagined they thought of. And it was really just a really good game to be in attendance for.
Man, those people get that for their first ever Buckeye game, and I got Rondane just running it down our throats for 4 straight quarters. Life is just not fair sometimes. Isn't that right, Volunteers? So looking at the stats, though, complete domination. We outgained them by over 200 yards, 473 to 256. It wasn't even that close, though. It doesn't even tell the story. It was closer to 300 before we put the third string in the fourth quarter, and they had their starters still in. The only thing, Tennessee does get at the injury to Sampson early in the game. Or whatever they're running back, number 6, gets injured right off the bat, only has 2 carries, totally nuked their offense because their receivers are worse than I thought they'd be. They could not get open at all. And Nico was just what I thought he would be, very inaccurate throwing the football. They ran him 20 times when he had 89 carries on the season. That can lead to some accuracy issues when you're getting pounded on all game. He even got his helmet. If you guys probably didn't know this, his helmet got cracked on that first hit from Cody Simon on the first drive. Split his helmet down here, hit him so hard. So he may have been playing with his bell rung a little bit like Will Howard against Michigan. But total domination. We want to start offense, defense. I'll start offense. Will Howard was freaking money. And that game plan, what the fuck? Where has that been all my life, especially against scum? Haas, what did you think there? The creativity, the motion, all the time. Both backs coming in the backfield, but running motions beforehand, getting them out of sync, Tennessee, so they couldn't just pin their ears back and come straight at us.
I was looking for it all season, the up-tempo, or at least just keeping the same package and getting to the line and audibling for there. And that's what it freaking worked to a beauty. The deep crossing route, 25-yard to the right. Will Howard went out to the right. He hit Ibuka twice there. Hit G. Scott once there, and hit Carnell Tate. That was there all night long in that little pocket to the right. Smith on the crossing route. Like, that was what was missing from Michigan, was the crossing routes and the quick hitter. Like, everything was missing from Michigan. I mean, whatever. But offense just as a whole, obviously we knew the running game was going to be lackluster. Okay, but we knew we needed to pass first, and we did. Thankfully, we did, and it worked, and that's what's going to have to continue. We are who we are. Okay, we just got to keep playing to our strengths. Okay, and limit our weaknesses. And Day talked about that at the end of the game, just saying, all right, we know our weaknesses. We need it. We didn't do a good job in Michigan of making our weaknesses have a less impact on the game, and that's what he did, getting Will Howard out of the pocket and so on and so forth. And it was really just an aggressive game plan all around, and I loved it.
Yeah, Dyer. If we sit there, we finally do what we've been asking all year. Give Travion Henderson the ball more and get the ball to Jeremiah Smith. That's like the game plan, especially like the first series. Hit the deep ball to him. Were you like rock hard the whole time watching that game plan?
Yes, sir. I like he was saying, it's what we've been waiting for. It's Evil Ryan, right? Like, even though we lose to Georgia, that's the guy that it reminded me of. Just do that. The rest of the very first touchdown, I knew we were good because it was aggressive. We threw that deep ball to Jeremiah. It was a 50-50 ball, but to him, that's like 80-20. Like, he's gonna come down with it or get PI. Something good's gonna happen most of the time. And I love Q. I love Quinshon, but get Travion the ball more. God damn it. I swear every game he averages 8 or 9 yards a touch. Like, the running game was lackluster a little bit, but we expected that with the beat up offensive line rotating the guards. But when Travion got the ball, he moved it. Like, I don't want to keep splitting it evenly. I want it to be like 70-30.
Yeah, I mean, Trey goes 10 carries for 80 yards, 4 catches for 54 yards, 2 touchdowns, two like 30-yard touchdown runs, almost the exact same length. He's clearly our best running back. I like getting a split a little bit to give him a breather, but yeah, he should be. The game plan was perfect. You want 3 guys touching the ball more than everybody else. You want Travion, you want Jeremiah, and you want Emeka being that's who you want the ball going to. And then Quinshon's a solid fourth option. Don't get me wrong. Like, he's a good player, but he's just not quite as explosive as those other guys. Can't make the big chunk plays the same way they can consistently. But he did what he needed to do in the goal line, which is get us touchdowns down there, which is that's what we need to focus on with him. Defensively, the D-line whipped Tennessee up front all night long. And I'll say our O-line did a good job blocking. Now, you guys were not able to watch it on TV, so it's hard to tell. First half, I didn't think we blocked very well. Tegra got taken to school a couple times on the face mask penalty. That was him getting blown up again. But overall, you can't complain about them after what we saw against scUM and Indiana, really. Like, huge improvement. But the defense, Jack Sawyer and JT, where's this been all season long?
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was pretty interesting. I mean, it seemed like most of the game we were playing with 3 deep safety. We went to a 4-2-5 look for most of that game. That was kind of surprising that we did that. I thought we would kind of bring more guys down into the box, but like you said, the running back going down a little earlier, and I mean, we were just really trying to play the contain element with him, and a couple times he got out of contain, he hurt us with his legs, but I mean, you're always going to get that with the mobile quarterback. Yeah, the defensive line was consistently getting pressure, and up the middle. That was also the D tackle was getting pressure up the middle, kind of forced him out, and then that Sawyer and JTT cleaned up. I mean, it just consistently, that's what we're going to need going forward. We know our cornerbacks are the weakness of the team, so if the defensive line can continue to bring that pressure, and we didn't even need to bring blitzes very often to get home. So that is what is also a crucial thing, to have Simon back there so he can come down and lay the wood like he did on him when he needs to clean up and he does get out of the pocket. The linebackers can kind of contain also in the end.
Yeah, I saw that it was the best game that those pair have had basically in their whole career, like combined in one game.
Easily.
Jake and Sawyer, they were just wreaking havoc. And that's what was missing the first time we played Oregon. So I'm looking for more of that coming next game because we're going to need it because they tore Denzel to bits last time. So if we can blitz and get him on his back a little bit more, that'll be huge. But the defense, I mean, in the first quarter, I asked my brother, like, okay, it's 21-0. Who's dominating more right now, offense or defense? I mean, the answer was offense, but it was close. I mean, we were basically just doing whatever we wanted on both sides of the ball. It was amazing.
I mean, the offense got away. I mean, we should have had a 3-and-out. The face mask got us out. And we also fumbled on an exchange there right before we scored with Judkins on the second touchdown drive. But so we had a little bit of luck bounce our way. Defense was just flat out dominating. Go ahead, Hoss.
Were we lacking that voice, that presence on defense of being a captain? I mean, it just felt like ever since that last at the end of that Michigan game where Jack Sawyer's kind of been like, he was the one that came down the field. He went over there, tried to rip the flag away. Before the game, he was chirping at Tennessee that the players, like, we were kind of missing that swagger, some of that chewing, some of that gnawing that the defense just didn't seem to give back to players. They were kind of they were good. The defense was good. They've been good all season long, but it just feels like they're playing with a chip on their shoulder now. Like, okay, we got something to play for. We got our pride to play for. We came back, and now we got to make, the most of it. And it just seems like Jack's that presence, and he's got to be that Captain Jack, I think, if we're going to do something here.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to keep relitigating the Michigan game, but yeah, where the hell was it? It's like the effort, the confidence. Yes. That starts at the top. So I'm going to give Day his flowers right now. This man in the first round of the playoff is a terror. Every year, first round. Even with the loss we had to Georgia and to Clemson, we dominated that Clemson game. Just the score didn't reflect it due to some various things that happened in it. The first Clemson game. Totally dominated them the second time. Awesome against Georgia, a Georgia team that was winning back-to-back national championships and won the championship game 65-7. Should have won that game. And then this year just absolutely put it on. The SEC. So all you guys that were whining there, Lane Kiffin, Bama fans, Tennessee clearly was better than you guys, and they just got their shit pushed in just like everybody else the first round of the playoffs. We'll talk more about the playoff stuff in another podcast. But just a cathartic game. The one I said we needed against scum, but we got it here. And I will say we make all the comparisons to Cooper all the time with Day. Cooper struggled the same way in bowl games that he did against scum. Day doesn't have that. He is why can't he harness this all the time, though?
I know. It's frustrating. That's why I'm like, just be aggressive the whole goddamn season. I don't even care. Like, I get it with your, the Northwesterns or the Western Michigan or whoever. Like, you don't need to do that shit. But even middle of the road teams, go at their freaking throat all year long. And he just seems to, it's almost like he's too arrogant. Like, obviously, don't want to keep harping on the scum game, but he just wanted to prove a point, and that bit him in the ass. And he was like, screw it, I'm throwing it to my best players. And if he doesn't come down with it, he doesn't come down with it, with Jeremiah deep ball, and it worked out.
Yeah, I don't really. I mean, things change. I think the Seth McLaughlin injury is probably bigger than what we kind of thought at the time. And looking back on it, we had a decent ground game going into, his injury. And after that, our ground game's kind of up the middle, running up the middle is kind of pointless. So that, I think that did factor into the Michigan game, him trying to figure out what the fuck we could do, because the Indiana game, we really couldn't do anything against them too. So I think, I don't know. I'm not Ryan down. I don't know what the hell he's thinking sometimes, but, sometimes I think he just needs to get out of his own way and just kind of let the players play. And I think maybe he's seeing that in the playoffs. He's like, okay, I need my best players to get us this win. And I think that's what he's finally doing here.
Yeah. Okay. One bit of housekeeping, though, that you guys weren't really a part of since you were in the stadium. But the broadcast was so slanted against Ohio State and for Tennessee, as you would expect from ESECPN. But Kirk Herbstreit was stepping over the line again. I know any Ohio State fan that pays attention to everything, if you're watching this podcast, you probably do, already hates Herbstreit. But last night was just the reason. He was piling on Ohio State fans for selling the tickets. He was constantly rooting for Tennessee on the replays or big plays, whatever. The interception in the end zone that kept it from being 28-0, which should have been an obvious defensive pass interference as Jeremiah was getting mugged. Fowler and Herbstreit both were just insufferable. One just over the moon that was a pick, even though it should be a pick. Sorry, as they're reviewing it, even though it doesn't seem clear at all that he has possession in his hands as his toe is still on the ground as he's getting ready to go up into the air. The referee who made that call too could not have seen his feet. There's people the guy is on the other side of where Jeremiah's and the other guy's bodies are. You can't see it. He can't see the feet there. He decided to call it a pick, which seemed ridiculous considering where the guy landed. But neither here nor there. That's why it stood. But on the previous possession, Nico had rolled out on third down at 20 and just chucked one up. And Hancock had held the guy's arm, Brew McCoy's arm, I'm pretty sure it was. So he couldn't go get the ball, and it just lands kind of in the middle of a bunch of Ohio State defenders. And which just looked like a bad pass probably to you guys, but it was clear pass interference that didn't get called. But whatever, it happens. And they're complaining up and down about it. That should have been pass interference. The in-booth referee on this replay in the end zone says, well, I don't know about the catch, but that should be pass interference because the guy runs right through the kid, is exact words. And they go, well, it doesn't really matter. That's not reviewable. What do you think about the catch? And I'm like, huh? What are we doing here? Now, Fowler, I know, he roots for good games all the time. He'll start getting fired up for the team coming back. I see it happen all the time. But Herbstreit, yet again, just goes out of his way. And then the end of the game, even while we're scoring touchdowns, saying what a shame it is that Ohio State fans sold their tickets and how bad it could have been. Can we get this guy? Terrell Pryor was right. Fake-ass Buckeye.
I can't stand the guy. I haven't for years. He's just fake. He acts like he's the biggest Buckeye fan, but he clearly goes too far the opposite way. Meanwhile, every Michigan commentator is biased as hell. Desmond is a clear example. And then I can't even think of what's his name on Fox Big Noon Kickoff. He's clear too. But I get so pissed off. I don't understand. It's like, just because the ball is barely touching your fingertips while your toe is on the ground doesn't mean you have possession yet. I don't get it. It's like they freeze frame it and they're like, oh, his toe is on the ground and his hand was touching the ball. Like, no, he has not caught it yet. God damn it. Drives me nuts.
I'm not too upset with it. They called it an interception on the field and they said stands. So they didn't really have enough evidence. They felt like to overturn it. It was a bad throw by Will too. Will has a couple of those moments every game. He threw it. That guy, I didn't think that was a good throw. He kind of forced the issue there. I'm okay with that throw. That of his throws, that was not a Will Howard moment. That was an okay. Yes, I'm just saying the interception was likely anyways. But I'm just saying, I'm not too upset with it. Trying not to harp too much on that point. What my being upset with is obviously the home field advantage is a big thing. Every fucking home team won by a lot. The NCAA is controlling the ticket selling, and they're controlling the production during the games. Tennessee got a hype video at the beginning of the game. These are not neutral site fields. So why are we giving control to the NCAA? Because what happened is that they give control of the tickets to Ticketmaster, and the NCAA controls it. And that's how these Tennessee fans were able to get control of it. It's because the season ticket holders will just say, okay, I don't want to buy their tickets. And then their tickets get put into the pool for Ticketmaster to sell to everybody. What should happen is that those tickets should be put for up for Ohio, up for the season ticket members to just automatically get those, and then they can sell them. The people that wanted to buy them, like me, should be able to buy more first, and then I can sell them to my friends that I actually know who are Ohio State fans. Who I had about 10 people that would have bought my tickets if I would have asked them. So I just felt like that is why Tennessee fans were able to kind of storm in there and get a little bit of representation. I mean, plus they're 5 hours away. The NCAA kind of controlling things like they always do screwed it up.
Well, the good thing about that is now a bunch of Ohio State fans have more money to go to the Rose Bowl. And Oregon coming up next. We're going to do a podcast separate now about that. But first thoughts real quick. We're favored in the game right now, which seems ridiculous. But then I go back and look and maybe not. So it will be interesting. So we'll talk about that. But thank you for stopping by. Again, Vols fans, thanks for the money. Kirk, go fuck yourself. For the Haas, for the Direwolf, I'm just Matt. Like, subscribe, comment. Let us know how much Kirk Herbstreit sucks. Let us know how much the SEC sucks. Let us know how great Ohio State is. And everybody who's been shit-talking us for the last 5 weeks, you go fuck yourself too. And we'll see you guys next time.
Hey, guys.
Whoa, big gulps, huh? All right. Well, see you later.